Hello, and welcome to the Design of Forms, and today we're going to take a look at the design of mammals. Oh, there is nothing that fascinates me more than the five-centered being, and the mammal is a five-centered being, as you can see. It's an extraordinary thing that the five-centered being is something that lives with us till this day, and not simply in the mammalian domain, but also in terms of our own lives. And I'll get to that in a moment. We've gone through an evolutionary progression that is the hominin family tree of Homo sapien going back historically. When we get to Neanderthal, we get to a five-centered creature with its obvious mammalian connection and its mammalian roots. I mean, humans are still part of the mammalian family, and you see that very much in design. One of the most extraordinary aspects of design is the fact that we have both a waking design, which you're most familiar with, that is the standard body graph, but we also have a sleeping design. It's called the dream rave. And the sleeping design, what happens to us as humans when we go horizontal and we enter into the sleep state, is that we return, in that sense, to the five-centered life. It is one of those things that's so fascinating for me, and I've spent a great deal of time in the teaching of dream analysis and dream rave, to grasp how different the dreamer is as a creature than the waking being itself. We are nine-centered. We are a very sophisticated upgrade of the original five-centered model, yet all of us, just as we carry a mammalian brain, all of us carry the five-centered matrix within us. What does it tell us about mammals? I guess the thing that's most fascinating about the mammalian design is its cross-special connections to human. That is, the 62nd gate pointed upwards towards a non-existent 17. All mammals have a potential connection to the conceptualizing power of humans. It's an interesting thing that the channel 1762 is the channel where humans have the greatest potential to be able to train mammals, to be able to educate them in that sense, and to be able to communicate with them in terms of patterns, because we're dealing with a logical connection. It says a great deal about mammal intelligence, is that if you teach them via patterns, there's no limit to what it is that they can learn. They also have two other cross-special gates. They have the potential of the 12th gate pointed towards what they don't have, that is, an emotional system. And for mammals, the emotional system of a human being is deep seduction. Mammals have two cross-special connections that point towards the emotional system. The 12 down to the 22, as I mentioned, and the 19 pointed towards the 49. Now, the 1222 is a fascinating one because, of course, this is the channel of individuality, and it's the channel of the encountering of strangers. And it is one of these things where, if you think back, for example, the unique relationship that exists between humans and dogs. If you go back to the earliest moments of that budding relationship, it happened along this line, that is the 1222. This is the openness of the mammal, and the openness of the mammal to this unique human approach. This is where the bond of two species, a special bond is formed. And it's interesting that the 1222 is a channel of romance. And you can see how we have romanticized mammals throughout our history. We have turned them into gods in, the astrological figures that we have in the sky. The way in which we have deified the mammalian spirit, this romance of the beauty of the wild animal, and so forth and so on. And then finally there is the connection between the 49 and the 19. And this is one that is particularly interesting because right now it is experiencing mutative change, a change that's been taking place, in fact, for hundreds of years. It is along this line that humans have domesticated animals for their own food supplies. It is this mammalian 19, the need for resources, the need for territory, the need for food, and the presence of the human 49 that brings the potential for food and protection to pen the animals in behind fences to protect them from their predators, yet at the same time to cull from that flock in order to be able to feed their own. This is a very unusual relationship between the mammal and the human. That is the line here of domestication. It is also here that the eating of mammals is ritualized. It's something to note that, the eating of meat is something that should always be done in a group. That the eating of meat was never designed as something for an individual alone. Just something interesting to think about. Mammals, the five-centered being. The five-centered being is an extraordinary thing. It's never left us. It is here in the mammalian world. It is very much a part of our own lives. And any investigation into mammalian design or dream design is rich and fascinating.